Today we're going to put the critical back in the critical gentleman and talk about what's coming out of Baselworld 2017. A lot of good, some bad, and some pretty ugly. So stick around and let's find out. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this video. So I think the showstopper so far has obviously been the Omega 1957 trilogy. I mean, this is clearly the release that everyone has been waiting for. Three of their most popular pieces, reeditions of references that have long since been out of production and have really started to skyrocket in collector value over the last couple of years. Of course, they start off with the Speedmaster. This is a reproduction of the early Speedmaster. It's got the broad arrow hands. It's even got that pre-darkened loom. It's supposed to look like not even just the aged tritium loom, but the radium loom before they switched to tritium. The silver bezel, not the normal black bezel. And they even changed the font on the bezel to the earlier font. So they really paid close attention to detail for this watch here. The case back is solid. They didn't even go with an exhibition case back. They're really trying to be authentic. It does have a limited edition engraving on the case back. All three of these pieces are limited edition. But they really tried to be as faithful to the original reference as possible, right down to the bracelet. I mean, I have to say, one of the most exciting things to come from this announcement, in my opinion, is the bracelet. Hopefully that won't be a limited edition and people can get these. I mean, can you imagine the number of collectors with older watch heads whose bracelets have been lost to the decades, who can now have the closest thing to a period correct bracelet for their older Speedmaster? Or even for me, I have a First Omega in Space, which is kind of a modern iteration of the 2998. It would look bonkers on one of those bracelets. So I'm hoping that those are available separately. But again, this is a really cool watch, an exciting release, and just the first of the three. So next up we have, and I'll kind of talk about these in a pair since they're a little similar, you've got the Railmaster and the Seamaster 300. Now these again are both the 1957 models, and as you can see, the dials are very similar. What's kind of cool about these is that they have the recessed loom plots. They're not just painted on top. They actually went authentic and carved recesses into the dial to fill in with loom. Now that's really neat. Obviously you've got the bezel on the Seamaster, whereas you do not on the Railmaster. That was in keeping with the original models. The Seamaster is waterproof, has a screw down crown, whereas the Railmaster does not and is not. Now again, that is accurate to the original, so I'm going to go ahead and say that they did that on purpose. There's actually some confusion regarding the crystals on all three of these. What people are saying is that the Speedmaster has Hesselite and the Railmaster and Seamaster both have sapphire. Now I've seen some promotional materials from Omega that say the Speedmaster also has sapphire, but everything coming out of Basel seems to say that it is not sapphire on the Speedmaster, it is Hesselite, and that's really what it should be. What is kind of cool though, on the Railmaster and the Seamaster, the sapphire crystal still does have the etched Omega logo in the center of it, so it's still there. That's kind of a neat little detail that they chose to include. Again, I think these watches are going to be a hit. They're a little pricey. Here's my prediction for these watches. We have not seen the last of them. It will not be these Baselworld limited editions and then bust. I mean, Omega has no qualms about releasing variants of the Speedmaster periodically to reinvigorate their buyership. And I am fairly confident. Now, I don't have any insider information. This is just my own opinion, but I am fairly confident that we will continue to see Railmasters, Seamaster 300 variations in other limited editions and potentially non-limited editions. But look, Omega had to make new tooling to machine these straight lug cases on this Railmaster and this Seamaster. They already had the tooling from the CK2998 and the FOIS for the Speedmaster, so that was nothing new. And in fact, I'm a little surprised that that's the most expensive of the three, if we're being quite honest, considering the others have coaxial automatic movements. I think that they're not going to stop after these 3 limited editions. I think they've invested, and I think that they believe they could make a killing on these 3 iterations in different configurations, and I think they're right. So look, if you think 6,000 to 7,000 is a little more than you're willing to pay for a limited edition Speedmaster, Railmaster, Seamaster, then I would say be patient. I think we'll see something probably under that price point later on, either this year or next year. Okay, now that's not all we got from Omega. Some of the videos coming out of Basel are saying that they have like 140 something new models added to their line, but the ones that we've known about and we've seen on the website are not quite so many, obviously. The one that I'm really interested in is the non-limited edition Railmaster, this new modern Railmaster. It's kind of an amalgam of different attributes from these more vintage Railmasters. I mean, you've got the lollipop hand, second hand. You've got the sword, hour and minutes hand. You do have the triangle loom, but then you've also got this kind of sector seconds tracker on the outside. There's a crosshair. There's these really bold numerals. It's just kind of a lot, and a brushed dial. There's a lot going on. I personally like it. It's pretty controversial. I think a lot of people don't. They also have a new Aquaterra, which gets a resounding meh from me, and the Speedmaster Master Chronometer, which clocks in almost 10K and is basically a Dark Side of the Moon with orange on it. I don't know what they're trying to do with that. This is like their premium line. It's almost 10K, and I guess they're trying to market it to people who want the latest and greatest versus people who, want the heritage moonwatch kind of thing. They're playing the vintage versus the new market. But I just don't know why you would spend 10K on a Speedmaster of any variety when you can get a moonwatch for under 5. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you can help me out with that one. All right, that's enough about Omega. Let's move on to Rolex. This one's going to be quick because, generally speaking, very meh. Nothing exciting. A couple new sizes here. You got the red Sea Dweller. Cool, I guess. And this really gaudy gold Daytona. I don't even know what to say about that. So, generally nothing exciting from Rolex. Great, a new OP 41 mil. Because I guess 39 wasn't big enough. You're talking to a guy who owns 2 at 34 millimeter, and I think that's perfectly fine. So I'm really not excited about bigger and better. That said, what I am excited from Rolex is the new Cellini Moonphase. Holy crap, thank goodness they finally released something elegant, something dressy, that kind of embodies what people view Rolex to be now. They started as a tool watch company, and they continue to churn out tool watches year after year. But the fact is, Rolex just was considered the #1 most reputable brand in the world. Like, they need to be embracing that and releasing dressier watches to carry that reputation, and this Cellini is going to do that. It is elegant, it is beautiful, it has the complications that will compete with other high-end manufacturers, and I think it's really a step in the right direction for them. The Tissot 1948 chronograph. Oh my goodness. Yes, finally. I've long believed that Tissot represents a great value into the entry-level Swiss watch market, but this piece is fantastic. And they're even going back a little further. A lot of brands are re-releasing 60s era watches this year. I guess Tissot wants to embrace their early heritage, 30s and 40s with their anti-magnetic line. This was Tissot was advertising their anti-magnetic hairsprings as early as the 30s. And so that's kind of where this line comes from. And this watch not only is gorgeous, but under 40 millimeters with a strong movement, and it is not too busy. It is great. I am so excited for this. Oh, under $1,500. Color me impressed. I'm excited. This may very well find its way into my collection at some point. Tag Heuer. Let's just talk Tag Heuer for a second. So they finally are showing off the 2017 Octavia re-edition, which I am now referring to as the fat edition, because all I've done is make the bezel fatter and make the case bigger and not change anything proportionally. And so what I was very excited for, I am now completely uninterested in. Go look at pictures of the 60s Octavias, then come back and look at this one and tell me that the other one is just not that much more refined, much more elegant, much more pleasing to the eye. It wears better, it looks better. If you're going to make a re-edition of a vintage watch, don't try to modernize it. Then it's a modern watch. You've completely lost the direction. So, look, who knows what the designers at TAG have been doing for the last 20 years anyway. But the fact is, they had a real opportunity to make something exciting and really cool here, and now it is just as disappointing as pretty much everything else that they do. So, there you go. I said it. And I'm not a TAG hater. I own one. I really like the Carrera edition. I'm a huge vintage Heuer fan. I mean, I would own 20 of them if I had the money. But great, not so excited for this Octavia. Okay, and so that's, I guess, the good and the bad. Now we get to the ugly. I mean, there's some video coming out of Basel where I just have to look at it and laugh to myself. I mean, what is Bell and Ross doing? I mean, I had one of these when I was a kid, right? It would light up, and you'd have to press the button that matched the color that lit up. Oh, wait, just kidding. That was Simon Says. I mean, who is really going to wear this? Holy crap. This one I can forgive because I'm pretty sure this is a prototype, and they just didn't have their milling machine to grind away these corners. I don't know why you need corners on this case. So here's hoping it's just a prototype and not, oh, no, that's what it looks like. Great, okay. That's it for now. Check in later if there's any more coming out of Basel, but for now, thank you very much.